My name is Kayla. I'm 33 years old, and I learned all of this in the dumbest way possible because of a pocket dial. A stupid, accidental pocket dial. Let me rewind for a moment. My husband, Ryan, and I have been married for 9 years. We have 2 kids, a mortgage, and what looks like the full suburban dream. Ryan works as the account manager. I'm medical assistant at the local hospital. To everyone else, we look like the couple who has life figured out. The truth is, we don't. 2 weeks ago, Ryan's phone called me at 3 a.m. I was on a night shift when his name showed up on my screen. I assumed he had butt dialed me in his sleep or something like that. I almost ignored the call, but I answered anyway. That's when I heard him talking to someone, a woman. Her voice was sharp and anxious. She kept repeating things about when you disappear, the insurance payout, and our baby. I stood frozen in that bright, buzzing hospital hallway, my hands trembling, listening as my husband calmly planned his way out of our life like it was just another account to close. The woman's name was Addison. She worked at the gym as a receptionist. The same gym Ryan joined 7 months earlier. The gym he suddenly couldn't stop talking about. The one where he started going 3 times a week to get healthy. I didn't hang up. I recorded everything he said. For 30 minutes, I listened to my husband and his pregnant girlfriend talk about staging a kayaking accident. They talked about leaving the kayak flipped over in the river. They talked about fake documents he had already bought. They talked about starting over in Costa Verde. For 30 minutes, my life fell apart while I stood there pretending to update patient charts. When I got home that morning, Ryan was in the kitchen making scrambled eggs with bacon, like he was some kind of perfect dad. Our daughters, Lily and Haley, were sitting at the table in their matching kangaroo pajamas. They were laughing at something on Haley's iPad. Ryan kissed my forehead and asked how my shift went. I told him it was fine. I didn't confront him. Not then. Because here's the part about betrayal no one really talks about. Sometimes you need to know everything before you burn your life down. Sometimes you have to be smarter than the person trying to destroy you. So I turned into a detective inside my own marriage. I started tracking his phone. I knew all his passwords. He never bothered changing them because he never thought I'd check. I made a fake Facebook account and sent Addison a friend request. She accepted it in a few hours. Her profile was locked down, but her bio said, "Living my best life." Apparently, her best life included sleeping with someone else's husband. I went through our bank records next. That's when I saw the money. Ryan had been moving funds around. At first, it was small amounts. $200 here, $600 there. Nothing big enough to raise alarms. But over 7 months, it added up to almost $50,000. $50,000 taken from our savings, from our kids' college accounts, from the emergency fund we built for things like medical bills or losing a job. That money wasn't meant for disappearing and starting a new family in Central America. Then I found the life insurance policy. He had taken it out 2 months earlier. $3 million. He told me it was a work benefit, just a routine increase. I signed the paperwork without reading it because I trusted him. That policy would pay out if he died in an accident. The anger I felt wasn't loud or explosive. It was cold and steady. It was the kind of anger that thinks ahead and waits, the kind that plans. I called my brother, Jason. He's a case officer in Atlanta. At first, I didn't tell him everything. I just said I needed help looking into Ryan. Jason didn't press me for details. He said he'd take care of it. Within a week, he had everything. Photos of Ryan and Addison together, receipts from a fertility clinic, messages where they talked about baby names, a lease for an apartment in Santa Clara signed under fake names. Ryan had been planning this for months, maybe even longer. The kayaking accident was set for this coming Sunday. That was 5 days away. Ryan had already told me he was going on a guys' camping weekend. He even showed me a cabin reservation upstate. Just another lie stacked on top of all the others. I sat in my car outside the hospital after my shift, looking through the evidence Jason sent me. That's when I made my decision. I wasn't going to stop Ryan from faking his death. I was going to let him go through with it, and then I was going to make sure he stayed dead. Not physically, of course, legally, financially, socially, in every way that actually mattered. I called my friend Rebecca. She's a lawyer who works in family law. We met for coffee that day, and I told her everything. The affair, the pregnancy, the fake death plan. The insurance fraud. With each detail, Rebecca's eyes widened. "Kayla," she said, stirring her cappuccino with a shaky hand, "this is insane." She told me I needed to call the police. "Not yet," I said. "I need to protect my kids first. I need to make sure Lily and Haley don't lose everything when this explodes." Rebecca started making calls. By the end of the day, I had a team, a forensic accountant to track the money, a criminal defense attorney who knew fraud cases, a financial advisor to help lock down what was left. I wasn't just going to survive this, I was going to win. That day, Ryan talked about his upcoming trip. He was cheerful and full of energy. He hugged the girls longer than usual before bedtime. I watched him tuck them in, kiss their foreheads, and tell them he loved them, all while knowing he planned to leave them forever. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. I wanted to grab him and ask how he could do this to his own children. Instead, I smiled. I asked if he needed help packing. I played the supportive wife, a role I'd mastered over 9 years. He had no idea that I knew absolutely everything. The next day, I did something I never imagined I'd ever do. I went to see Addison. The gym was one of those modern, trendy places with exposed brick walls and motivational quotes painted everywhere. When I arrived, Addison was at the reception. I stood in the back of the gym and watched her through the glass wall. She was attractive in that standard Instagram kind of way. Blonde highlights, straight white teeth, designer leggings that probably cost more than my medical assistant scrubs. She was also clearly pregnant. I'd guess around 5 months. The swell of her belly was undeniable now, leaving no secrets. I waited outside the studio. She walked out laughing with a client, her hand resting on her belly without even realizing she was doing it. "Addison?" I said. She turned toward me. The smile disappeared instantly. She knew exactly who I was. Of course she did. "I'm Kayla," I said evenly, "Ryan's wife." The client muttered an excuse and hurried off. Addison and I were left standing there in the middle of the gym, surrounded by clanking weights and humming treadmills. "I don't know what he told you," she began, but I lifted my hand. "I'm not here to argue," I said. "I'm here to warn you." Her perfectly shaped eyebrows pulled together. "Warn me about what?" "Ryan is planning to fake his own death this weekend," I said. "And here's the part that matters," I continued. "It's insurance fraud, a federal crime. When he gets caught, and he will, everyone involved goes down. That includes you." The color drained from her face. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said. "Yes, you do," I replied. "You're pregnant with his child. You think you're moving to Costa Verde together. You think this is a fresh start." I stepped closer. "But Ryan doesn't do fresh starts," I said. "He runs. And when this plan falls apart, he will blame you to protect himself. He's an account manager, Addison," I added. "He knows exactly how this works. And he's setting you up to take the fall." "You're lying," she whispered. "Am I?" I said. "Ask yourself why the fake documents are in your name. Why the apartment lease in San Clara is only in your name. Why he's been so careful to keep his fingerprints off everything while yours are all over it." I watched it sink in. I saw the doubt spread across her face. "You don't know him like I do," she said, but her voice shook. "I know him better than anyone," I answered. "I've known him for 13 years. And I know that when things go wrong, Ryan always finds someone else to blame." I pulled out my phone and showed her a screenshot. "This is an email he sent to his friend Liam 3 weeks ago," I said. "Read it." She took the phone with trembling hands. In the email, Ryan explained his exit plan and how he made sure everything would point back to the girl if authorities got involved. Addison looked like she was about to throw up. "He wouldn't do that," she said weakly. "He loves me." "He told me he loved me too," I said. "He said it on our wedding day. He said it when our daughters were born. He said it last week over breakfast." I took my phone back. "Love is just a word Ryan uses to get what he wants," I said. "And what he wants right now is to disappear with $3 million and stay out of prison." "What do you want from me?" she asked. Her eyes filled with tears. "I want you to understand what you're part of," I said. "I want you to know you still have a choice. You can go along with his plan and end up in federal prison. Or you can walk away now and save yourself." "I'm having his baby," she said quietly. "I know," I replied, "and that baby deserves a mother who isn't in prison for fraud." She stood there with her hand on her belly, and I could see her whole world shifting. Every promise Ryan made was crumbling in her mind. "I need time to think," she finally said. "You have until Sunday," I told her. "That's when he plans to stage the accident." I turned to leave, then stopped. "One more thing," I said. "If you talk to him about this, he'll tell you I'm lying. He'll say I'm crazy. He'll say I'm jealous. He'll say I'm manipulating you. He's very good at that. So maybe don't tell him we talked. Just watch what he does over the next few days. See if his actions match his words." I left her standing there and drove home, gripping the steering wheel so hard my hands hurt. I didn't know if she'd listen. I didn't know if it would change anything. But I'd planted doubt. And that was enough. That day at dinner, Ryan's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, flipped it over, and kept eating. It rang again few minutes later. Then again. "Aren't you going to answer that?" I asked casually. "It's just work," he said. "I'll deal with it later." It was Addison. I knew because I was monitoring his phone remotely. She called him 20 times in 2 hours. He didn't answer once. After dinner, he went into the garage to sort through camping gear. I heard him on the phone, his voice low and tense. When he came back inside, he looked rattled. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. "Just client stuff." Liar. The next morning was Saturday, one day before the planned accident. I woke up early and found Ryan already dressed and making coffee. "I'm heading out early," he said. "Need to grab some supplies." "Okay," I said. "Drive safe." He kissed my cheek and left. I waited 5 minutes. Then I followed him. He didn't go to a camping store. He drove to a cafe across town. Addison was already there, sitting in her car in the parking lot. Ryan parked and walked over to her. I parked 3 rows back and watched. They talked for about an hour. I couldn't hear them, but their body language said everything. Ryan talked with his hands, clearly agitated. Addison was crying. At one point, she shoved him. He grabbed her hands, pulled her close, and kissed her. She pushed him away, shook her head, and walked away. Ryan stayed there alone for a long time before driving off. I followed Addison instead. She drove to a strip mall and went into a small law office. She stayed inside for 2 hours. When she walked out of the office, she looked different, more focused, more certain. I didn't know what she had done inside, but I could tell something had changed. I went home and waited. That evening, Ryan came back with shopping bags from shop. New camping gear he would never actually use. He spent the night packing, checking his list over and over. He acted like a man getting ready for a weekend away with friends, not a man about to disappear from his family's life forever. I helped him pack. I folded his clothes. I reminded him to bring his allergy medicine. I played my part perfectly. That night in bed, he wrapped his arms around me. "I love you," he whispered into my hair. "I love you too," I said. And I lied straight to his face. Saturday morning arrived both too fast and too slow. Ryan was up before sunrise. He loaded his car with all his gear. He kissed the girls goodbye. They were still half asleep and barely understood what was happening. He kissed me on the front porch. "I'll call you when I get there," he said. "Have fun," I replied. "Be safe." He smiled, got into his car, and drove away. I watched until his taillights disappeared down the street. Then I went inside, poured myself a cup of tea, and waited for the second phase of my plan. At 11 o'clock, my phone rang. It was Jason. "He just got to the river," my brother said. "He's got the kayak. There's another car in the lot." "What kind of car?" I asked. "Gray Honda, registered to Addison Jackson." "Is she there?" I asked. "Not yet," Jason said. "But Ryan's been on his phone nonstop. He looks nervous." "Keep watching," I said. At 12, Addison arrived. I wasn't there, but Jason sent photos as it happened. Addison getting out of her car, Ryan walking toward her, the two of them standing apart, talking, her shaking her head, him reaching for her stepping back. At 12:30, Jason called again. "Kayla, something's happening." "What?" My heart started pounding. "There are police here," he said. "2 squad cars just pulled into the lot." "What?" I said again. This wasn't part of my plan. "They're walking up to Ryan and Addison now. Jason said. "They're putting Ryan in handcuffs." "What?" I whispered. "Addison's talking to one of the officers," he continued. "She's showing them something on her phone." Ryan looks panicked. I dropped onto the couch. "What's going on?" I asked. "I don't know," Jason said. "But wait, another car just arrived. Looks like a detective. A guy in plain clothes just got out. He's flashing a badge." My phone buzzed. Another call was coming in. "Jason, I have to take this," I said. "Keep watching and call me back." I switched lines. "Hello? Mrs. Anderson?" a man asked. "This is Detective Harrison with the county sheriff's office." "I need you to come down to the station," he said. "It's about your husband." My mouth went dry. "What happened?" I asked. "Is he okay?" "He's fine," Harrison said. "He's in custody. I'll explain when you get here." The call ended. "You think you know the truth? Part 2 will shock you,"